Good morning. We'll call the Wednesday, December 10th meeting of the Criminal Justice Committee to order. Start with roll call, please.
Mr. Hess?
Present.
Mr. Lowy?
Present.
Mr. Carrico? Mr. Long? Mr. Hunter? Ms. Andrade? Ms. Rittman-McEmmy? Ms. Amber Turner? Mr. Marion? Mr. Crutcher? Dr. Nims? Ms. Denise Turner? Mr. Llewellyn? Mr. Benoit? Mr. Taden? Mr. Alexander Hildebrand? We do have a quorum.
I have not received anything for public comment. Is there any public comment at this time? Any public comment? Moving on to the approval of the minutes from November 12th, 2025. Mr. Carrico the first, Mr. Lowy the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Chief Judge, Mr. Cunnington. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Everything's moving along pretty steadily for the renovations at the courthouse. We're meeting regularly with the construction crew, managers, and architects. The start date is now around July 1st. That's the latest estimate. There's a lot of hoops to go through to get all this to fruition. One of the things that we were waiting for are the initial drawings for a new courtroom on the first floor. That's our proposal, and we got that about 2 weeks ago. So I will be submitting that to the Supreme Court for approval. The reason we have to get their approval is that it does not meet Supreme Court standards because it's basically smaller. We don't have a lot of room over there at the courthouse. There was a lot of discussion on, do we need conference rooms? Do we need staging area for defendants being brought over? Do we need a courtroom? The courthouse was originally built with 2 courtrooms, and we now have 9 courtrooms, and we have 10 judges. So we're gonna try to create a courtroom for that 10th judge, as well as our visiting judges. We have judges come up from Iroquois County, and then we also have judges that come in from other counties that are on conflict cases. So I will be submitting that to the Supreme Court and asking for their approval for a variance from the Supreme Court standards. I mean, we'll meet ADA requirements. We have to do that, but some of the other requirements, we're going to ask for a waiver on those. The only other thing is this is my last meeting, so I want to Judge Bill Dickinson will be taking over January 1st. I'm term limiting out. I'm not retiring. Everybody thinks I'm retiring. I'm not retiring yet, but he'll be Chief Judge as of January 1st. So I appreciate being able to be here and share with you information, and my door's still always open if you have any questions that I can answer or help you with. Not much I can do, but as you know, we can't talk about anything pending at the courthouse, so that kind of limits us as to what we can discuss. But I appreciate you, Mr. Hess.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Hunter.
Your Honor,
Yeah.
you've
Yes,
always been a pro, R6, and you've always been a bastion of information that we have questions about, and we appreciate, your tenure as Chief Judge. This one question, I know I always hit our sheriff with this. Do you guys ever discuss the Safety Act at all and the limitations?
About 3 minutes ago, we were discussing that. Yeah. In fact, we're gonna get together and talk about it. See if we can't come up with some suggested changes. See how far that goes.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Thank you.
Up next, Ms. Cianci. In the package, you have a copy of Sandy's monthly report. Take a motion to approve that. Mr. Hunter, second by Ms. Turner of Kankakee. Good morning, Sandy.
Good morning. I don't have anything specific on my report, so if anybody has any questions. For the new people, the disbursement report that I have here is all the money that we've collected this last month, and then it gets dispersed to all these several funds. And as you can see, some of them, they go like straight to the Illinois State Treasurer's office, some goes to our treasurer, and then all the different municipalities and things like that. And then I don't have the Harris & Harris report this month. They didn't get that to me in time, so I'll have 2 of those next month. And then our state's attorney's agreed collection court. What that is people, when they know they're in collections, but they don't want to be paying the additional 30% through the Harris & Harris collection, they enter into an agreement with the judge and the state's attorney's office, and they make payments. And then when they don't make their payments, then they get pushed back into collections. So, I mean, there's a court process that goes along with it, but that's the basic story. So, the collections for November was $1,683.98 for that. There's no hook for us to collect money any longer when they changed the state law, where we used to be able to put a hold on someone's driver's license, and then they could not get their license renewed until they paid their fines and fees for their certain traffic citations. And that was taken away. If you could see my chart that I'll do next month, I can show you. It was taken away about 3 or 4 years ago, and so our money went pretty quick. So, so that's about that for the reports.
Any questions for Sandy? Mr. Kretcher?
Good morning. I'm
morning.
just curious about your transition with your Tyler program.
Yeah, that was going to be my next conversation.
Before we get into that, we have a motion, a second on the floor. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay.
Okay, so we're still working through those issues. I'm setting up a meeting with a few key people in the room here and some Tyler people in January. I want to wait until after the first of the year because there's no sense in getting anything going now. Just so that there's all new players now here compared to who was negotiating for the contract and things. And I just would like them to understand our wishes and have them explain to us what we bought and what we didn't buy, things like that. And where we expect to be at this point. It's been a struggle. I have the judges asking weekly, when are we going to get the e-signature portion done so that they could do orders electronically. And we're still working on those issues with Tyler. We're still working on the Harris & Harris collection with Tyler. So between Harris & Harris, I think it's in Harris's court right now to work on the programming on their end to meet in the middle with Tyler. So we've been volleying back and forth with that for about a year. Things just take time. I mean, people go on vacation and then everything gets put on hold, and then the next person comes back and then somebody else is on vacation, and things just don't move as quickly as I thought they were going to. So we're still working diligently to get things accomplished. The next thing that I'm working on, I have a call with him either today or tomorrow, is for the e-citation portion, where when the law enforcement write tickets, right now they print them off and they bring them into our office, and then my people enter them into the system. And the goal is to have the citations just loaded from their handheld device into a file and electronically sent to us, and then we just review them and import them into our system. That's how it's supposed to go. So that's the next step that I'm working on to get that accomplished.
Mr. Hunter?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Sandy, has anyone from Kankakee City contacted you? Because I think they're going to Tyler as well, too.
Okay, no, nobody's
haven't?
contacted
Okay.
me. Mm-mm.
You could probably walk them through that process.
Well, it's, with our system, we have, as you can see just with these funds, we have all these, we have so many, we have civil cases, we have criminal cases, we have millions of line items that we had to manually go through and connect the dots from the one system to the other system. So that 18 months of us, I call it programming. I know Jason gets nervous when I say that, but for the lay person, that's what we were connecting the dots. We were mapping the old system to the new system. One of the problems we had when we did the conversion is that several cases came over open when they were already closed in the other system. And it's just because of how the buckets fall together. So we are manually going through and closing a lot of those cases because there's not a script that will do a one-size-fits-all to close those cases.
So you have 18 months of experience. If you had a magic wand, what would you do different in terms of the transition?
Well, with the people that we had, you know, we have 33 people, 14 of them go to court, and then the rest of them were working in the office. So I had 5 people dedicated to do this. If I had, you know, more people to do it, but we still had to run the office plus do this. I mean, it was a lot. It's a lot of work. It's not like just buying a car and turning it on and taking off. You know, there's been a lot of work, and I think when they said that they would do it in 18 months, I feel like we should have pushed it off another 5 or 6 months so that we could have wrapped everything up. But they had their goal that they wanted to get us live in September of 24, and I think that if we had another 6 months to finish what we were going to do, the lady that was the manager, she wanted to get it done in time, so she kept saying, well, we'll just get you over the finish line and get you started. We'll get the basics done, and then we'll get everything done in, you know, before January. Well, it's the next January, and we still don't have a lot of these things done that we were promised that we were going to have done last January. It's just a bigger, heavier lift than what any of us ever expected. But on the flip side, since I'm involved with a lot of my colleagues across the state, there are other people that are going to different systems, and they think it's the shinier, you know, star than what we went with, but they are all having the same problems. It's a niche market, and there's only so many out there, and they also have problems with hiring people, because that's another thing that we've had. When we were going through this process, we had, you know, our person that was going to be our lead person that was going to keep us going. Well, he decided he wanted to go back to teaching, so he left, and then they assigned us somebody else. Then they had to catch up. Then, you know, another person left in the middle, and so it's like everybody, they can't keep hiring people and keep people either, you know, so they're always starting with new people. And I just don't think they have, I don't know what it is. I don't know if they don't have enough people to keep going what they need to have going to. I mean, they've got, you know, when you go to their conferences every year, there's, you know, 5,000 people at these conferences, so they do have a broad customer base. But for us, I don't know. I don't know if they just don't have enough people in the court side of things. You know, it's a lot different than the municipalities. You know, that's a smaller database that they're working with, so they probably have, you know, the people for that. But for this, we just keep starting over and starting over and starting over, and it's the best that we can do.
I think we as legislators appreciate your update with the specificities and the vicissitudes that you're encountering. Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you. It's been a lot.
Any other questions for Sandy?
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, State's Attorney's Office, Mr. Coughlin. In the package, you have a copy of the grand jury report and the grand jury statistics report. Take a motion to combine and approve them. Mr. Long, second by Mr. Crutcher. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. How are you?
Wonderful.
I don't have anything other than the report. If anybody's got any questions, I'll be happy to do my best to answer.
Any questions on the report? We have a motion, a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Quick. Up next, Mr. Pennewick. You have a copy of Mr. Pennewick's report. Take a motion to approve that. Ms. Turner, second by Mr. Lowry. Ms. Turner for moments. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning, everyone. Any questions on the report? Other than that, I have nothing to add either, other than Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone has any.
Any questions? Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Aye.
Thank
All
you,
right,
sir.
Thank you, guys.
Catch up here. Mr. Latham, probation. In the package, you have a copy of Tom's monthly report. Take a motion to approve that. Mr. Lally, second by Mr. Long. Good morning, Tom. Comments, sir?
Nothing on the report, unless there's any questions. Next month, we'll have the totals and how they compare to past years and stuff. So.
We have several new members. Would you explain the juvenile detention center, how we do that?
Well,
With the 6-7?
yeah, as you see on the report, they have, we'll give monthly, every month, how many we detained, juveniles we detained at River Valley Detention Center. That's in Joliet, that's where we house them. We used to own 25% of that facility. Now we just pay day by day, or every day we use it, daily rate. So that's why you could see that number. That used to be as high as 25 to 30 kids in custody. Now it's averages about what it's at now. What, 6? I can't read it. Yeah, 6 or 6. So
yeah,
it's gone way down, which I think getting out of owning part of that was a good move, because you had some fixed costs there that you pretty much were paying what you're paying, and if you're detaining 6 kids versus 30, obviously your daily rate went up if it's lower the number. So it's been a good financial move to get out of that. And we're lucky because detaining juveniles around the state's a huge problem for a lot of counties. They just don't have a place to put them. And we have a great relationship with Will. And so they take all our kids, which is very helpful.
Any questions for Tom on the report? We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Only other thing is update on our negotiations. Our contract expired November 30th. I think I brought that up a couple meetings ago. Negotiations went very smooth. We have a tentative agreement. The union just has to vote on it. So just within a matter of a couple weeks. The chief judge and I are very happy how smooth it went. I know I met with the chairman, vice chairman about the specifics of the proposal, the counter proposals, and it was very, very basic and went well. So there's nothing, I can't get into that now because they haven't voted on it yet. I'm just happy how quick it went, and I'm sure we're happy that there's not this big back pay issue. And I know I talked to the Iroquois chairman last night, and he was very happy about that also. So
That's always an issue.
it's always an issue, and just to get it done and stuff. So.
Any questions for Tom? Thank you, sir.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Up next, the sheriff. In the package, you have a copy of the sheriff's monthly report. Take a motion to approve that by Mr. Lowry, second by Ms. Turner from Kankakee. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'll say Merry Christmas too before I forget. As far as the report goes, it's pretty consistent with what's been going on. You can see on the far right up on under the corrections under A2 where we ended up for the fiscal year, which was $3.4 million less in revenue from inmates or from out-of-county inmates. That was a number that I think we had somewhat let this committee know what was happening in Chicago, so we knew that there was going to be certainly less revenue, and we have adjusted our budget throughout the year through attrition and other things that we cut. So, you know, it didn't affect our bottom line as much as it could have. We are trending back up, though. I think I mentioned last month that we were averaging about 25 more out-of-county inmates than we were basically most of the year, and that number's jumped up to about 30 more So that's a positive. I would remind the committee with the fact that we no longer are allowed to house for ICE, that our state government has cost the county about $26 million over the last 4 years. So understand where that would put us financially if we were still allowed to do that. So if you, and I've started to include kind of the other things that are going on corrections wise with the transports and where they go. I know Tom mentioned River Valley. The sheriff's office is responsible for those transports, so that's on the list on that second page. We did 118 total transports, including medical back and forth to the courthouse, Chicago, and there's a pie chart there that shows you where the majority of our transports are. If you look at the page and the heading up top is NTAs, those are warrants that were picked up in some place outside of Kankakee County. These happen to be in, all of them were in Illinois with the exception of 2 that were in Iowa. And as I've said before, our corrections division contacts the state's attorney's office to see if they would like us to go get that individual who was wanted on those warrants, who was in custody on those warrants. And you can see that in November there were 12 that we did not go get. And quite frankly, these are, unfortunately, we get into an issue where we kind of weigh safety versus cost. And so there was 12 that we basically were issued a notice to appear. So they were given another court date. And my guess is those same 12 won't show up to court at their court date either. But that's an issue with the Safety Act that we're trying to deal with. And then the next page with the yellow, the names blacked out. In November, you look at the ones we did bring back, and all but 1 in November got released. And fortunately, the one that's still in custody was from Iroquois County, so we didn't spend a lot of money going to get that individual. So, but you know, we brought, I mentioned it last month because it happened right before the meeting, but we ended up spending over $2,000 to go to Texas to pick one up only for that person to get released. So frustrating on our end, but that's all I got on the report.
Questions on the report before I ask mine? I'm sorry. The calls for service at the courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
We're down quite a bit on each one. Is that all due to the Safety Act too, because there is no bond hearings?
Right. Yep.
You guys haven't seen that on your report. That's really, I mean, it's 13,000 people different.
Well, yeah, you mean from the courthouse?
Courthouse, yeah.
The traffic, which
the traffic.
is, on one hand, isn't all bad.
I
the traffic,
understand that.
yeah. I don't think the judges would disagree that the traffic in the courthouse is not a bad thing.
But that goes to show you the Safety Act, though, what the effect. I mean, it just keeps trickling farther down the list.
Nobody has to go to court anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that simple. And as Sandy mentioned, you know, there's no, you know, the waiver of fines and costs and the waiver of traffic tickets, and there's no punishment for not paying your traffic fines. I mean, and who does that affect? That affects this body. And I've said it 100 times, and I'll keep saying it. You know, law-abiding citizens are funding the criminal justice system in Illinois. It's just that simple. Because the ones who are committing all the stuff and creating all the work and creating all the expense don't have to pay a dime. So, anything else?
Any other questions on the reports? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Two things, since it's December and it's Christmas, I'll end on two positive things. There, in your packet is a copy of a press release sent out by the Sheriff's Association regarding the pilot program that was actually started in Kankakee County. I can't tell you how successful that program has been, not only for our own inmates who are in need of mental health treatment, but statewide and working with DHS. DHS has been great to work with. I know that not everybody feels that way about state agencies, but they have been great to work with. It has helped. Obviously, for selfish reasons, we wanted this pilot program so that our own inmates would be able to get treatment as well, and that has been a positive. And by treatment, and what this mental health program, for those, and I know there's a couple new ones here. So on occasion, there are those who are in custody who are found unfit to stand trial. And when that happens, they basically sit in a jail, which is not the right place for them to be, because most jails in Illinois aren't able to provide treatment. And they ultimately end up going to a mental health hospital for as long as mental health deems until they can return them to fitness. By doing this and taking inmates from across the state of Illinois, by doing this allows for DHS to kind of triage, for those of you that may be familiar with medical things in hospitals. You know, if two people go into a hospital and one's having a heart attack and one's having a cut on their finger, who's the hospital going to treat first, right? They're going to treat the guy who's having the heart attack. But this allows those that are more serious with their mental health needs for DHS to get to them sooner. So it's been I can't tell you how great it's been. I can't tell you how proud I am of our medical staff who has bought in, our correction staff who has bought in. And it's really in the press release, they are starting two more pilot programs, one in McHenry County, one in Franklin County. So basically the three sections of the state, the north, the central, and the south, are all starting to get involved in this because it's working. And I think that's how you base your programs on, if they're working. If it wasn't working, you wouldn't have McHenry County jumping on board. You wouldn't have Franklin County jumping on board. These things are working, and it's making our system better by getting these individuals treated who need mental health treatment. So kind of a star in the cap of Kankakee County. So,
would you be sending anybody to help train it up in those areas?
Actually, both McHenry and Franklin County have been to our place. So, yeah, so it's been good. And then lastly, there is I try to bring this back to you guys because, you know, you guys were the ones who were generous enough to allow us to purchase drones, and some of those drones were bought with ARPA money, if you recall. And I can tell you that, you know, when I tell you that we're using them, I mean, I could bring stuff like this every meeting. I promise I won't, because I know, you know, I don't want to sit up here as long as I do sometimes, but I just want to show you. This was just the other day, and there was two people walking on the interstate, and one was wanted, and there was a female that was a runaway, and the other guy was wanted for a felony, and so he was a nationwide extraditable warrant. Got booked into our facility, but when we arrived on the scene, this was a state police call initially, so we were assisting the state police.
Just confirming you're going to the wanted subject. We also have a pending call for disabled vehicle, State Highway 1, 6000 South. They're requesting.
It's pretty wide here now.
And if you recall, it was cold Monday.
get through the Huckster fence. I'm just gonna follow K11's tracks around the fence and head towards the trees.
There's people in here now. I don't know yet. They haven't got them yet, but they're in here. I'm gonna launch my drone now. I think.
Gate, you can squeeze through from the back of the lot.
So the drone operator's lucky he gets to sit in the car.
Any units in that field? I'm directly above them right now.
So you can see the thermal imaging. He's there, and that's the police officer who found him. He was in there was tall weeds that he was trying to shield himself from the cold and shield himself from us, obviously. But that's thermal imaging, and then that's the regular view. They sped it up, obviously, for time's sake, but
They have him in custody.
that's just them walking him out. You can stop it. So that, again, that is more to show you guys that when we come and ask.
All right, man, be safe.
That when we do come to ask you for equipment to help do our jobs, it does go to good use, and I can't tell you how much our deputies appreciate it. And again, that was a positive ending, and guys in custody and going back to wherever he came from. I don't even remember what county he was from, but it wasn't from Kankakee County. So,
Mr. Carrico.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Sheriff, I have a question here. If you could give your personal opinion on the recently passed HB 1312 yesterday, which was signed into law, and how that's going to affect the county. It's no arrest inside the courthouses or 1 feet around hospitals, child care center, public college, universities, and stuff like that.
So we've worked with the chief judge since all this, and even back when we were housing for ICE, and we would not go in to the courthouse. In fact, it was probably 6 months ago, maybe, where when ICE first started to come, and there were reports of ICE coming to Kankakee, and we got word that they were going into the courthouse. We actually contacted them and said, listen, you can't go in the courthouse. That's just the rule. And you can wait outside, you can wait out the back door, but you can't go in the courthouse. So we were actually doing the courthouse part of it early. As far as the other parts, I mean, local law enforcement isn't really, all that legislation was really kind of directed at ICE more than it was local law enforcement, because we can't arrest, we can't detain ICE those who are wanted by ICE anyway. So it really is not going to affect us. All that legislation that they talked about, and especially the bill you mentioned, those are all directed at ICE, not necessarily local law enforcement, because we already can't, arrest anybody. We can't ask anybody's status, whether they're a citizen or not. We can't work with ICE even after somebody's in custody. So it really didn't affect local law enforcement at all. That was more directed at ICE. Now, how that's going to work out, that I guess remains to be seen, how far ICE takes it, because we know that there's a...
Well, you just mentioned that you already had communicated with them not to enforce anything inside of the courthouse, but I seen that this was added like 1,000 feet around the areas.
Right.
So you got a little bit more.
Again, that's not going to be us, because we're not going to be the ones that are arresting anybody out of the courthouse or out of the hospitals or churches or daycares or anywhere else that bill indicated. That is strictly a legislation that was passed for ICE, and especially it's only in Illinois. So yeah, it's not really going to have any effect on local law enforcement. It's all ICE. And what that, I think, in addition to what you mentioned that bill does, it also affords individuals the right to sue.
Right.
And again, though, they're not going to be suing us, they're going to be suing ICE and the federal government.
Yeah, I just want to clear this up, because you already mentioned in the past other meetings that you had already stated that there was no arrest within the courthouse.
Right.
So you already had implemented that in the past, even before this thing was passed or signed into law.
Yeah, my guess is ICE will probably challenge it because now everything our governor does or everything the president does ends up in court anyway, so it'll probably get challenged at some point, but that is strictly an ICE issue and not a local law enforcement issue. So if ICE comes, I mean, you know, we'll assist them from the standpoint of getting them to places where getting them out of places where they can't be.
Right.
At least verbally. We're not going to handcuff an ICE agent and say you're arrested. But
Thank you.
I wish we could work with ICE, but we don't.
Mr. Hunter?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Sheriff Downey, you were ahead of the game regarding that question coming up at the Hispanic Partnership Forum in which you attended, and that question came up about arrests in and around the courthouse.
But that was also with the recommendation of the judges, and so it was a team effort.
So, and that, you know, people were thumbs up for you because you came there and addressed that particular issue. Couple other things. You know, I've talked to Jackie and Pat, Representative Haas and Senator Joyce, and I've always maintained this, that, you know, Safety Act should have been a pilot project for
For
one
Cook County.
Yeah, for one county, and
Yeah.
the other 101, hey, leave it
Agreed.
alone, because
Agreed.
all this stuff is based upon, you know, the Black Caucus, Hispanic Caucus up in Cook County. I don't know if that ever happened, but probably. But anyway, are you still trying to meet with the representatives in Kankakee County? There, I know you interface with Representative Haas and Senator Joyce all the time. And in fact, I just saw you Monday, you know, talking with Senator Joyce about some stuff. Maybe it would help, because I know that you have attended the NAACP state meetings, made a presentation, and also some of the regional or quarterly meetings or something we've had with law enforcement. And you've been on a panel and addressed a lot of concerns all over the state. So it's not just micro in terms of Kankakee County, but macro audience. Had you thought about, or the Illinois Sheriff's Association thought about meeting with the Black Caucus and the Hispanic Caucus about the Safety Act and the ramifications, as well as those individuals who represent Kankakee County? Because it's like a pie in terms of it's more than Jackie and Pat. There are other individuals as well too. Senator Sims, I know that you've been trying to meet with him forever and a day,
Not anymore.
but that has not happened.
I know that our executive director has contact with both the caucuses that you mentioned. Nothing solid yet, but I mean, I know that there's, you know, we're always coming up with things that we feel could make the Safety Act better. And we'll continue to do that. The problem is it's getting those bills called if they ultimately turn into bills. It's, you know, there's one party that is a super majority that if you know, they can pass or refuse anything they want. So, but yeah, we're continually working with and having different ideas. And, you know, the one thing I've always said, and I think I've said it to this committee before, is, you know, the day after the Pretrial Fairness Act went into effect on September 18th of 2023, we were going to know the effects of how it affected the courts, how it affected the state's attorney, the public defender, everybody. We had a pretty good idea, and I think most of what we saw coming has happened. So now, after, I guess, a year and a half or so, we have some actual data that shows that there's things that can be changed to make our system better. And I think that's the ultimate goal. We said even before, because they've talked about the Safety Act being, you know, we have to reform criminal justice. Well, reforming criminal justice is a constant. It's not something that you just do once every 10 years. It's constant. You find something that's wrong and you try and fix it. So I think we're able to do that now with the data, and that's what we'll continue to do.
You know, I always say facts and data don't lie.
I would agree with you.
If you had that audience of those respective caucuses, because that empirical evidence doesn't lie.
And I know we're trying to collect the same data statewide from all the sheriffs, not just, I mean, I give you numbers from Kankakee, but those numbers that in other counties are not much different, so. Yep.
Anything else? Thank you,
All
sir.
right. Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas again.
Merry Christmas.
I covered you, John, don't worry.
Up next is Ms. Laird from the Animal Control. In the package, you have a copy of Carrie's monthly report. Take a motion to approve that. Mr. Lowry, second by Mr. Hunter. Good morning, Carrie.
Good morning. So first of all, on the total, yearly total to date, it's a little bit lower than last year. That doesn't take into account any debts that are owed to us from local vet offices. One has not owed us, or has not paid us since July, so we are hoping to get that fixed shortly. And another has not paid us in a few months, and it's around $20,000. So we have at least $30,000 coming from two vets offices that will go into the 2025 budget that'll reflect on this. Towards the bottom, you can see our euthanasia is down from last year, which is great. And then our owner reclaimed animals and our adoptions are up. And we handled more animals this year than we did last year. So those are two benefits to being in the new building. On the report,
Any adoption fees being lowered for Christmas?
we have some, about half of our adoptable animals, they have been, their adoption fee is $100. So it's $50 less. So they have been waived a little bit. We're also doing something currently where it's we have like a wish tree, and you can come in and sponsor a dog or a cat, and you just shop for those items, bring them back, and meet the pet, and get a picture. So,
Any questions for Carrie? We have a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
only other thing I have is that last month the building at 1270 sold, so that is now out of our hands, which is great.
Great.
Yes.
Any questions? Thanks, kid. Up next, the coroner, Mr. Gessner. In the package, you have a copy of Bob's monthly report and the monthly receipts of money. Take a motion to combine and approve them. Ms. Turner from Moments, Mr. Lowry.
Morning, Chairman.
Morning.
For those that are new, and I think I've said it before there, this is what I'm going to work off of right here. Not much to say. Our 24-25 budget is, you can see we're all done, but we still have 7 pending, so I'll have a total of what we've done for the year, probably hopefully at the next meeting out of here. Autopsies are usually our biggest factors there. They were down in November, but we're very high up on October there. So we're averaging right around 8 autopsies a month. Our calls, total call numbers have gone up. Other than that, it's kind of easy to read exactly what where we're at right now. So I'll take any questions.
Questions on the report? We have a motion, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I'm really happy to say, as I said last time, our overdoses have really gone down very heavily, and hopefully they stay down. Still, a number of Narcans are being used. I know I talked to the city fire department. They had 33 Narcan saves in this year, so it's still out there. But I think a lot to do with our education we've done has helped us gone from 56 down to 18. It's at 1 pending right now. We're not for sure that's going to be it, but average age was at 47. The youngest age was at 29. Oldest is 67. That's younger than us.
That's young. That's young.
11 males and 7 females. Other than the factor, it's still high on fentanyl. That's in our particular area. Carfentanil has come back. Also xylazine, which I'm working with Jackie Haas and Senator Joyce on getting that. So it's government related that we can do something about it right now. You can get caught with that, nothing we can do about it right now. Other than that, there's been a lot other injuries of from car accidents, like blunt force trauma, like from a motorcycle or cars out of there, and they've had combination of the last one we had was heroin, fentanyl, carfentanil, and parafluorofentanyl and ethanol at 26.2 on his blood alcohol. That was one person on a motorcycle. So those are some of the things we run into. Just to say, after if you have any questions on these, I'll answer it. But yesterday I received a call from our Hidden in Plain Sight trailer has been very popular this year. In the last year and a half, we'll be going out again. But I got a call from Will County and the Grundy County of because of what we're doing here in Kankakee County as far as educational wise. They want to come and see what we're doing and hold a seminar down here to help people find out exactly where you can take people with problems with addictions. We're very happy to try and support that. I got to try and find an area who can hold as many people as they want to come down here. So I'm very happy to be involved in that and happy that we're being recognized too. So
Great. Any questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Is there any old business to come before the committee? Any old business? Any new business? Yes, Mr. Lally.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to take this time and reflect. December 30th will be the 4th anniversary of Marlene Reminick, who was murdered in the line of duty. I'd like to take this time during the holidays for all of us to say a prayer for her family and continue to support her family through this rough time, and to remember the absolute positive and good work that she had done, not only for Iroquois County, but for Kankakee County, where her life and career was ultimately ended. Thank you.
Any old business come before the committee? Mr. Carrico. Second by everybody. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.